Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. Now, if this video hits 1,500 likes within 24 hours, we're giving away $100 worth of crypto, and all you have to do is make sure you press the like button, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and make sure you comment something down below, as the winner will be picked from the comment section. Having said that, in recent videos, I've been shouting that altcoin season is here. I've been shouting it like crazy because I firmly believe it is so. Even our metric that we usually use to determine whether or not it is alt season, which basically tracks whether or not 75% of the top 50 coins have performed better than Bitcoin in the last 90 days. If that's the case, we consider it to be altcoin season, and that is exactly what has happened right now with some crazy gains for most of these coins. It is also very important to understand that the basis of all of this is still Bitcoin. So even though we can look at all these altcoin market caps or whatever market cap you want to look at, it will always have a basis of Bitcoin. Even if you exclude it, it's still based upon Bitcoin, which is a really funny thing that some people seem to forget. They think altcoins can just run on their own. No, they're always with Bitcoin as a start. And in this case here, I believe we can all say that Bitcoin has gone exponential over the last couple of weeks. Now, that is that little blue line here. It doesn't really represent anything more rather than to just show you guys that it has gone exponential. Any line that you'll draw will not even show you the full severity. However, it does spark up a question. Why have we fallen down here? Are we going to be making a double top? Is something fishy going to happen here? Because, hey, we can see some really interesting pattern going on. What are we seeing? We're seeing a divergence. And whether or not it is a regular bearish divergence, or I have never actually heard about this really, but a hidden bullish divergence, that is still the question. We are going to see that in the next couple of days from now though, because it's going to rely on whether or not we can retest the top here, get close to the zone. If we do not, well, that's going to be a very negative thing in my opinion. However, if we actually do hit it, it could still be a double top depending on whether or not we breach, whether or not our body goes above it, and what's going to happen in the next couple of days. I would say things are still looking juicy because the uptrend is still continuing on, yet it's going to really depend on the next couple of days. Once more today, not really big. Next couple of days, however, is, in my opinion, a very big thing to watch out for. Why have I said this? Why am I building this up? Well, because as I've just said before, we want Bitcoin to be bullish. We want Bitcoin to do good because otherwise altcoins will most likely fall down. If you take a good look at the alt season index though, we want Bitcoin to do good, yet not too good. Otherwise, the gains of these other coins are not really valid anymore because you could have better had Bitcoin, which means, well, it's better to hold Bitcoin, which means there's not an altcoin season. And we all know altcoin season is where the real money lies because otherwise it's just mediocre since Bitcoin really doesn't have the craziest of gains. We want altcoin season to be here for more money. Having said that, if we're interested in the XRP price, well, we also want a very bullish Bitcoin. And please, guys, stick with me for a little second here, as I know it's a freaking cluster, but that is because I try to have a story in here. And if I were to only draw it part by part, I would kind of lose my grip. And once more, this theory here is by no means 100% valid. I've just kind of drawn something, thought about something, and I want you guys' feedback on it. So please go and use the comment section royally for all your discussions. Be careful with the scammers as there's a ton of them, but this is just me trying some stuff, and I've been teaching myself a whole lot of things too. For example, this is not actually a attempt at real Elliott wave. It's actually just, once more, just some theories put together and a couple of setups put together and some thoughts, right? So please take it with a grain of salt here, as it's just me trying something out, and you can all just bash me because I read every single comment, but I thought, yeah, there's some validity to my statements. Having said that, we should start back. This is all on a weekly time frame as I'm looking at the bigger picture of crypto right now. If we look back at the lowest point of XRP in a very long time, that is of course in March of 2020 when the whole CV19 situation came into play. What happened was a kind of a usual uptrend pattern where we're seeing a new high being made. Okay, we're having a bottom, newer high being made, retest basically of the first top, a little bit below that if you consider the wick to be valid, but once more, our last huge bullish spike happening. What was kind of the case here though is that this was all looking good, right? This is a normal pattern, the most normal thing you will ever see in the world. Just basically when our top is being taken out, the wave is basically validated, and what we saw was a top, right? So what should have normally happened was if we, for example, put the Fibonacci from the number 4 to the number 5, so basically the most recent low to the recent high, a correction to about the 0.382 Fibonacci would be quite normal. That would not be crazy, and that's what we saw here over the next couple of weeks. We saw a perfect bounce from which we should have potentially continued on with this trend, as Bitcoin, for example, did continue this trend, as you can logically see. Things just really went pretty beautifully for Bitcoin. So logically speaking, XRP, like almost any of these other coins, should have also continued with this pattern. For example, Ethereum did too. However, what happened with XRP is we saw a huge fall downwards. Why? Well, because Ripple, the bigger company behind XRP, got sued. And that sparks the question, was this move right here, was it kind of a predictable one? Was this bound to happen? Or was this pure manipulation? Was this all because of the lawsuit? And was this a kind of a thing you could not have measured, a thing that you can kind of take out of the whole whole calculation, basically an anomaly, something that usually doesn't occur and is still kind of strange in this case? Because there's a couple of theories that you can kind of build on top of that, depending on how you view the move which we saw here. If you would say, well, it's a valid move, we could actually say, okay, so we basically started either a new downtrend for a little couple of weeks. If you look at the internals, for example, on the daily chart, which you could do, you'll notice that it's basically the most normal downtrend in the world. However, it only lasted a couple of weeks. We basically saw this as a top right around here, the 23rd of November, started a downtrend going on for the next couple of months, 2 months or so, before, again, starting a new move. With zero being here right around 17 cents. Once more, it's really interesting how that point here was taken. It's just a little bit above that, which again, you might also use to draw some new conclusions, which means, well, we haven't taken out this bottom just quite yet, so it could be that another formation could be drawn. Once more, I'm just putting up some hints here. However, let's quickly get rid of this one to make it a little bit less cluttery. What I've been thinking about and what I've been kind of discussing with myself here and kind of been thinking about is, what if this is the most recent low, basically the start of the newer uptrend, the newer move, the newer bigger picture, because we can kind of validate this as a downtrend. What if this is the start, making one top, going down once more, interesting levels, we're seeing them all, it's logical, and now this is basically going to be our new formation where we are taking out the local top, also the previous top in our number 3, and then moving on with, for example, a nice little correction. We don't know exactly how big that's going to be. We could say, okay, that's going to be, for example, another scenario like this where we're taken to the 0.382 Fibonacci, or maybe to the 0.5, which in this case would be perfect for that one. It's just going to depend a little bit on how this breakout is going to look like. However, there are two main stops to this, and one would be, once more, what actually happened right here. Have we started a downtrend, which is actually in the bigger picture? For example, you can see here, if you look at how things are going, we are making lower highs, right? And potentially, if this whole area actually decides to not take out or not even touch the zone here, which once more, you could consider a lot of different things. You could consider this to be a double top even, once more, because we hit the top here basically, and usually how you make a double top is you take the top of the wick, depending, right? Once more, we can validate a couple of things or invalidate them. I'm just saying, what if you take this as basically a top? We use the top of the wick to the bottom of the body, and we basically draw that out here. What happened was we touched it once more here. You might even say this is a triple top, but we did not touch it here. And that could mean, okay, from this point on forward, if we're actually going to continue downwards, it could be that this was a double top. We should sell right now. It should be negative about the price. However, there's another thing which I kind of found out, which could be that we're actually not taking this bigger picture here, but we're taking a smaller picture because we're invalidating all of this. We're cutting this as a previous move, that from right here on forward, we're actually making a double top and going to fall down from here. However, once more, that is going to depend on a couple of factors which will envelop in the next couple of days, couple of weeks, because think about it. There is something really big happening in the next couple of days too. For XRP, I was kind of predicting this green candle to come here because, well, we got some huge news on April 6th, and that could actually make it so that we will continue upwards towards April 6th. As you guys all know, what we got going on is the lawsuit between Ripple and the SEC. We got a very important call on April 6th, which is about whether or not Ripple will be getting the Bitcoin and Ethereum verdict documents. That could be a really huge day for XRP, which could also mean that the week leading up to it is going to be green too. And what that would mean depends on how high we really go. If the candle is not even touching any of our previous points of interest, or not any of these two zones, I can't really say anything because the whole move was kind of invalid. There really wasn't anything heavy that happened. So we're still going to have to wait for a move either side. That's once more if we're only seeing green. If we're seeing red, it basically continues with this whole downtrend that we just talked about, where we're basically moving downwards here piece by piece, and it all started when we hit this top, and actually it kind of sparked up while they really got sued. And I guess the next one would be, are we going to touch this zone right here, which is basically our most local top, or are we going to touch the higher top, which is right around the 79 area? It's basically going to spark on whether or not we will hit 64 cents or 79, which is still really around the corner, and I think it's going to hang off or depend on what we'll hear in this phone call. Phone call? I said it with like a W. Phone call. Yeah. I'm not a native English speaker, by the way. Some of you guys still always amaze me with your comments saying, "Oh, you're American, it's so easy for you." It's always pretty damn funny. I sometimes get some DMs about that too. But yeah, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. I've just been fiddling around with this for a little while. I've been thinking a couple different things, and even though I'm not boasting here or talking about any trade setups at this point, I am thinking the bigger picture for XRP is still bullish. I would say really within a short amount of time, we should just break past all of this clutter which we've seen before. We have tested the zone twice. However, we have, from a different perspective as well, made a higher bottom right now, right? So once more, it could be that we're starting a newer trend and we're going to blow past all of this resistance and all of this clutter which we've seen before. Maybe we'll just see another retest of this zone right here. Maybe we'll actually retest the top one. It's a mystery for me right now, but I am saying once more that the next couple of weeks are going to be really freaking interesting. And man, some people have claimed now that, or actually I should say the SEC has claimed now that the whole SEC filing here wasn't really a bad thing by them. Man, I've really been telling you guys is what I've been telling myself. The SEC is so crazy in their actions and crazy in their speech. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're planning. I don't know what the whole bigger picture is, but are they really defending us with all their statements? I would still say no, because once more, whatever way you view it, this was the week where the SEC sued Ripple, and this is the week after that. You can't really say that it wasn't a negative thing and it wasn't caused by them. It's a freaking 70% downfall because of the SEC. Well, once more, partially because of the SEC though, depending on how you view it. But I personally would like to think so. I personally would definitely like to think so. And then, by the way, if we're going to get a double top, where are we going to bounce from? Are we going to bounce all the way towards here again? Are we going to retest? It actually going to depend as well, right? If we breach past this, you could consider it a double top as well. Well, unless you consider this, 1, 2, then in this case, this does not matter. It's about this zone right here. Unless you consider this to be 1 and 2, then this is going to be our double top. Once more, it really, in my opinion, depends on whether or not we consider this to be something we should kind of disassociate with the whole system, or if we should associate. And talking about all the other altcoins, man, I've been looking at them, but every one of these is looking bullish. Once more, it's a little smaller downturn. You might even call a couple of really other interesting patterns inside of this. Not really necessary though, because I would say everything is looking bullish. Almost any of the ones that I usually follow, everything is looking juicy. Everything is looking good. And yeah, I'm just buying altcoins like crazy. As you get, oh, I don't know what that is. That's ugly. As you guys know, I've also decided to share my portfolio over on Patreon if you guys want to know about that. The whole trading thing, I have not shared anything with that because once more, I'm not too certain about everything that I'm doing. Even though I've consistently made money over the years, I still don't feel comfortable to act as an advisor or even give my signals or even give any stuff like that. I did it a couple of years ago. I used to really talk a lot about what my trades were and what my profit was looking like and everything like that. But as the years grew by here, I've just been more experimenting with things, thinking about things and kind of finding some logic in it all. But once more, you just let me know if you think any logic inside of it or not and what we should be trading then according to you. Because once more, I am waiting for a move to either side before making another position. For Bitcoin, though, once more, I'm extremely, extremely bullish if we take out or at least test the zone, which we'll see really shortly here. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, if you are enjoying this or if you enjoyed the feedback. Once more, I'm going to read every single comment. I'm going to try my best.